So today, though, I'd like to talk about this larger sense of building and extending cohort identity when we've shifted or pivoted from our more in-person spaces to shifting online virtually overnight. I teach on one of the courses that I teach on is the Health and International Development course as part of the MSc program. And I form part of this HID team. And like to draw on experiences, and I should say very much that this is often a team effort and not just my own individual practice. And I think that has shaped a lot of the identity and the experiences of students themselves. So when we switched to this virtual space in the wake of COVID-19, a lot of the focus was very much on teaching. Obviously, it's quite important, but it's just as important for us to consider the implications on the cohort themselves and their identities, something that we worked very hard to cultivate. They were facing a lot of disruption, some of them on their own in London, losing a support space as their friends went back home almost immediately, not really getting a chance to say goodbye, or wondering if, even though this wasn't the end, you're still expected to get through Lent term, get through summer term, submit your assignments on time, do your exams, but it still feels very much like an end. There was very much a sense of disconnect for a lot of them, which really damaged the sense of cohort identity and feeling completely disconnected from the rest of their cohort, and whether they were, was it just them who was struggling with things? And so one of the ways I thought we could try and address this was to create an informal space. And I think these informal events and this informality is actually very important. So we held a series of events for them, from a free-for-all hangout to a film night where I did a poll of films, 4 films that are available on YouTube that we could then watch together. And then what was probably my most popular event, doing a quiz. Some of these events that we held, these informal events, were building on things that we had done in the past during in-person in Michaelmas term. I used to use quizzes, for example, quite a lot in my seminars, which was a core module for them, so that they'd all been a part of it. So something they were quite familiar with as well. Next slide, please. So in the planning and execution of these events, thank you. So in the planning and execution of these events, it does vary very much with capacity, not just of students, but also of staff. And it's really important in this to have students engage in what they would like to do and when. I think it's really important that we check what's on their calendars, because literally no one is going to show up if you schedule it the day before a major or even quite a minor deadline. And it's really, I think time zones is obviously a massive issue. It's really not going to be possible to try and find a time zone that works for everyone if they're all spread out. So again, really important to get a sense of where it is the students are. And I tried to find one that worked for the majority of them. And the thing is, students will make an effort to try and attend, at least for a little while. Some of our students showed up at 7 a.m. their time to make it to the quiz. And I think it is extremely important to have staff and faculty engaged. So for us, we're really lucky to have other members of the HID faculty show up, be present, engage. And I think students really appreciate that, even if they come in just for 15 minutes to say hello. I think it is the sense of care that comes through. Mishaps are inevitable, they will occur. I had quite a bit of a mess up with my quiz as well. But students expect that, they understand it, and they're willing to be flexible with things as well. I think broadly our students really appreciated these events, and we're hosting our end of term hangout later today too, because it isn't just the opportunity to hang out informally, but it's one that strengthens their sense of identity and of their connection to each other. And these events have really made me think about the importance and the value of cohort identity, the kind of support and camaraderie that it enables and engenders. This isn't just the magic of doing X degree, but requires a very concerted and deliberate effort to create an identity. And this isn't just on students, but it's something that is on faculty to try and facilitate and encourage too. I think in part it worked because we were able to set that up during Michaelmas term. And I think this brings me to a question that we've all been thinking about in one way or another, this pivoting online versus if we begin completely online next year. And I think it becomes even more important to build a cohort identity and think of ways to do that online that isn't overwhelming, that accounts for the capacity that we have, but still be able to have that for a group that perhaps might need it even more so than they did, or that they have needed over this quite difficult time. Thank you.